The best leaders in the world invest in building their skills to improve their performance over time. And in today's world, successful entrepreneurs believe that effective leadership requires development through diligent and intentional practice. However, many of our private and public sectors still focus on strengthening the traditional skills associated with leadership, such as effective decision-making, strategic thinking, and managing others. But one of the most vital skill sets a leader can have is often the least understood, which is emotional intelligence. Abiola Salami is a performance strategist, and he joins me now live in our studios here to discuss this. Good to have you in the afternoon.
Thank you for having me.
We discussed emotional intelligence is made up of 4 key branches. Tell me each of these pillars.
Okay, so the first part is on self-awareness, which is the capacity of an individual to really understand himself or herself, understand how his emotions progresses. What are the triggers of that emotion? So you get angry. What gets you angry? You're afraid of performing a business task. Why? What gets you afraid to? So there's self-awareness. The other part is self-management, which is using the knowledge you have about yourself to manage yourself, to determine how to make decisions and what to say so that you can always put your best foot forward. The third part is called social awareness, which is your understanding of other people, understanding the interests, of other people, understanding the triggers for their emotions. And the fourth part is relationship management, which is by virtue of what you know about other people, by virtue of what you understand about how they make decisions, what their needs, what their interests are, you can build rewarding win-win relationships with them.
How important is emotional intelligence? Let's get started on the public sector governance part of things. You would need it as a leadership quality, kind of.
Okay. Well, one of the drawbacks of governance in Nigeria especially is there's always the distance, the gap between the leaders and the led. And it is rooted in emotional intelligence. That gap can be filled with empathy. What is empathy? Empathy says seek first to understand before you are understood. Empathy says that be sensitive to the needs of your people so that you can foster their development. And most of the complaints you see, the reason people go on the streets to protest, the reason a lot of wrong things are going on within the country is because you see that there's a lack of...
Aren't there emotional intelligence during elections? Money is shared, pastries and other things are shared. So don't they connect with the people? Is that not a way of saying they love the people? They are connected.
So you see, there is meeting the genuine needs of people. There is also taking undue advantage of the needs of people. Taking undue advantage of the needs of people is, they are hungry today, so you give them a bread to eat today. But you know that hunger is not just today, it's long term. And so really emotionally intelligent leaders are those who look at the long term of the needs of people so that their people can become self-sufficient, such that it can develop the nation. I mean, look at other countries that we always talk about, that we always refer to easily. We call them developed nations. It's because some of their leaders, they've taken time to understand the needs of their people, and they've developed policies to address those needs so that people...
So they're emotionally attached to those that they led.
Yes. So they are emotionally attached to those that they led. They understand the needs of those people. They are visionary, right? And they also ensure that as leaders, they don't allow their emotions to always determine their decisions. Because...
For example...
Okay, so...
For example, where you come from, cultural issues,
all of those things, the ethnic issues. I mean, not too long ago, there was a situation in the country, and then people expected leadership to respond in a particular way to show that leadership is sensitive to the yearnings of the people, not necessarily to provide the solution immediately, but to show some level of sensitivity. But because emotional intelligence is lacking, leadership just brushed through it like nothing happened. Until date, we're still feeling the consequences of that. So if we want a progressive nation, a progressive business as well, it's important for leaders to develop emotional intelligence such that they can lead themselves well and lead other people aright, such that the country can move forward.
Who's designed this particular emotional intelligence? How can it be deployed, especially for businesses and the private sector at least?
Okay, so first, let's look at customers. Any business setup, the goal is to serve customers. Everybody says that. And it's important to really understand the behavior of the customer. Why does this person patronize me? Why does this person patronize my competition? And so what can I do to ensure that this customer of mine stays with me, and I don't lose that customer to competition. Even before the person becomes a customer, as a prospect, what are the needs of this individual? What are the behaviors of this person? How can I channel my product or my service to make sure that I support the yearnings of this individual? Is this individual visionary? Is the person thinking about his or her future in 10 years' time, in 20 years' time?
But we use the lingo customer here in this climb.
So this is the deception about it. There's a lot of lip service we pay to these things, but eventually when you check what is being done, anybody can say anything. The real transformation comes from what is being consistently practiced. People will talk about customer service, customer excellence,
exactly.
all those buzzwords.
Yeah, we've heard
all those buzzwords.
Yes.
But in the same vein, just ask yourself, there's some services that you enjoy, or rather, that you're supposed to be enjoying, and you have loads of complaints. And so they don't necessarily project your complaints. They cover up the complaints, and then they talk about themselves as an organization, as a super, a first-rate, customer-centric organization. And then there are complaints here and there, telecoms, financial services, industry. Restaurant. Oh, that's even another level. Restaurants, and what is really lacking?
I'm saying that because I'm presently hungry right now, so I just need to bring that in. Yes, go ahead.
No, it's good to be hungry. Yeah. But I hope that when you go get some meal, that you will be offered excellent service.
I just wanted emotional intelligence. So where do they get it? University, schools of business school, where can we get it?
Truth is, some people have this skill naturally, but just a few people. But every one of us, it is important that we go for training that we learn. By the way, recently we released a tool. It's called The Magic of Emotional Intelligence, right here. Right, that's the title of the book, The Magic of Emotional Intelligence. We say how champions apply emotional intelligence to achieve peak performance and advancement in life.
I'm emotionally involved in this because I'm going to start charging you for that advertorial for talking about the book. But it's okay. I'll let that pass.
Thank you for letting that pass.
Now I'll have to make a call on that. Great. So is it something you can onboard over time?
So it's about consciousness, that you are conscious of the fact that you don't have this skill. There's something we say in learning and development, that the beginning of progress is discovering the need, is discovering that I have a gap, is discovering that I am incompetent in this area, and then seeking ways to become competent. So there are people out there that a lot of us we admire, and I'm not talking about because of how rich they are. It's because of their comportment, their behavior, the way they behave under pressure, right? A lot of people will say...
Well, if this is beginning to look like a spa that I need to come around there because I need an emotional intelligence...
Please feel free.
I feel free. Don't say another word. The bill is coming to you. Abiola Salami, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And that's how to wrap it up on today's Global Business Report. Stay tuned to Arise News from all of us. Thank you for your company. I am Bosi Namafaye.